go tomorrow.
Absolutely. Welcome on in, guys. Welcome to Real Bucs Talk. I'm your host, Michael Plus. Join as always my co-host, Mark Ramirez. And yes, it's a victory Monday. The Buccaneers won again. They're back in first place of the NFC Laugh Out Loud division, as I like to call it. Man, what a game yesterday. That was, I mean, you can't say it wasn't entertaining. I mean, a lot of ups and downs. But Mark, just your initial thoughts of yesterday, and obviously the Buccaneers finding a way to win and back into first place of this division.
It was a struggle the whole entire game. I mean, but both teams. And it was something that we kind of talked about. It's like you could honestly see every coach in the NFC South be fired at the end of the year. And is it just that this division's that competitive with itself? Or is it that they're just all that bad and they're all shooting themselves in the foot and no one can really wants to take the division by itself? Either way, we won the damn game. To me, I mean, I know we want change for the better, but it was just whose shit was going to stink less, pretty much, in that game. And at this time, it didn't stink that bad, I guess. So did I see things improve? Yeah, I saw the running game improve. I saw Baker not make too many mistakes, even though, yes, he's not reading the field as well as he should be this late in the season. The defense by the Falcons they're sound. They have a lot of good veterans on that defensive front, defensive secondary, and Baker didn't force many things, but there was areas where he shouldn't have. But he got away with not many mistakes, and they stayed in the game the entirety of the game. And then he came back and wins you the game. So there's things you like, and then there's things you look at the stats, you're like, holy crap, it looks like below 50% completion percentage, not 144 yards. We ran for more yards than we passed. How many times does that happen in nowadays NFL? The defense did just enough, but I mean, there's still areas where you're like, but you still won the game. I mean, as a Buck fan, I liked it. I felt better after the game. I was like, oh, cool, great. Still in the division. We're in the front of the division. We're possibly playoffs, but it's almost like whoever wins this division is going to be out first round. So literally how it feels. And it's frustrating, but either way, there's bright spots all around. Is it the coach or is it not? That's the big question mark. And everyone's been talking about it all day. It's what we talk about for the past 3 or 4 weeks. But how'd you feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, just watching the game, again, a lot of bad process, like we talked about before, process on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively, playing way too much for third down yet again. With the run pass, defensively not being aggressive enough. When they were aggressive, there was not anything to balance that as far as coverage and pass rush. We only had 10 pressures on Desmond Ridder, which isn't good enough, especially going up.
There's even less.
Yeah, so still, anyway, not good going up against a majority backup offensive line because they had injuries throughout this game. They lost their left tackle at one point. They lost, I think, another guard as well. So, yeah, just defensively, you would have liked to see more cohesion on both the pass rush and the secondary. I know Drake London had a big game. Carlton Davis, obviously making an interception. Antoine Winfield had an interception, but again, a penalty took that away. Winfield with a huge safety. So you get 9 points from your defense, which is great. We did win the turnover battle, like you said. So no turnovers on the offense. So that was a good point. And I think Baker had no turnover worthy throws, which is always a good sign. He did have some big time throws, especially late, like you talked about, where he found a way to get this team in the end zone to win the game, put us at the lead. And, still had that feeling of it's 31 seconds, not enough time for the Falcons to score, because they almost did. They came up 4 yards short of putting it in the end zone. And it's like that kind of stuff just can't happen, right? You get the lead and then you're like, oh crap, here comes Houston all over again. And it's like, but they got it done, and that's what matters. And right now, you're in first place in the division, and yeah, I mean, now you got Green Bay coming up, and should be another game that they'll be right in there. They'll be right in the mix.
Yeah, and that's the frustrating part of this team. And
Hmm.
that's the beginning of the season why we're like, okay, well, we're not going to be elite, but I think we're going to be in every game and potentially 10 wins wouldn't be out of the question mark. Now our floor was 7, which we're almost there.
Yeah.
And I mean, it should have been. I mean, if you look at every game, we've always been in every game until like
Mhm.
the end. Like the 49ers game kind of got out of hand, but still they were like within a possession or two of either getting within one possession.
Mhm.
They were inside the red zone multiple times. They just couldn't convert. So,
Yeah.
but that's part of the game, and they're always in it. It's just a frustrating team, and it's a
Mhm.
poorly coached team. Like we're going to talk about how the hell there's only 9 players on the field on a goal line stance. The
Yeah.
week before there was 10. What are we going to do this week? We're going to have 8.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it,
So,
how that's all on coaching. That's you got to
mhm.
know that and hit a timeout and say, look, well, my team's not ready yet. Let me just get them all understanding what the hell needs to be happening. And if that's Todd Bowles saying, okay, maybe that Casey Rogers needs to know how many guys are on the field, that's him. He's got player management, team coach management. That's part of your job as a head coach. And
Mhm.
that cannot happen in just 2 weeks in a row. If it happens the third week, like what else can you do? And yeah, we're winning during this, but again, it's against divisional opponents who are not good. And the Packers, although they are 6-6 or 6-7, whatever the hell they're going to be, they're not a great team as well, but they've beaten some good teams as of late. And do I see us going in there being competitive? Yeah, but you
Yep.
just can't keep beating yourself, and it's nothing is consistent on this team. That is a credit to coaching. Things not clicking. It's not just because no one's dropping the ball nowadays.
Mhm.
So offensively, I don't know what the heck it is. It's the run pass is probably shooting us in the foot, even though the running game is slowly getting together. Defensively,
Yeah.
I think it's one thing that warranted 2-0 without Devin White. That's massive. 2-0 without
Mhm.
let's sit him again.
Yeah.
I think we're finally starting to catch wind of what the hell we've been saying since he's been drafted, even though they've been fighting it. Gold jacket, gold jacket. Well, what about now?
Mhm.
Who gives you
Yeah.
words of Happy Gilmore?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's pretty obvious Devin White is he's just not a good football player. He just hasn't been throughout his career. I know 2020 had a great season as far as stats, but again, it hasn't been there consistently, hasn't improved. But just looking at these numbers, and you talked about the running game improving. So Rashad White getting 25 touches, 102 yards. A lot of those yards came in the second half, especially late, where they had, I think, 12 carries for 71 yards in the fourth quarter. Even Chase Edmonds produced. He had 8 carries for 40 yards. That's 5 yards a carry. Um, so yeah,
That's him not reading the holes well either. Like sometimes I'm like, what the hell are you doing? He's
yeah,
making quick decisions, but sometimes
right.
not hitting the hole. So
Yep, exactly. So yeah, and again, not a great day passing the football, obviously, 14 out of 29. That's not good by any standards, less than 50%. And again, they try to force feed the ball to Chris Godwin because of what happened, during the week. He had 11 targets, and some of those, yeah, they could have been completed, just not hitting for whatever reason, whether it's dropped or just bad ball placement, what have you. Um, and obviously a lot of people were talking about Mike only have one catch. He had 6 targets in the game. Probably could have had a touchdown. I mean, the one where he had his hand down out of bounds, I mean, that should have been a touchdown. Baker, I mean, I was looking at it on the all 22. He's got to throw it a lot sooner, and he didn't, and it's unfortunate. But
but
again,
that's
they didn't know.
we keep
Yeah,
hearing it's almost like the Jameis Winston thing. Like he
right.
even said, "Oh, I looked off the corner just to make sure I wasn't going to throw an interception, but I threw it too late." It's
Yeah.
like how many times can we keep saying, "Oh yeah, I just threw it too late. I just threw it too late." Like
Yep.
these are reads where you kind of got to be aware of who's on the field and where they're at. That's your job as a quarterback. And if
Mhm.
you're doing last second things, like I mean that is your job. Be prepared. The most prepared guy in the field. Yeah, he does do a lot of things well. He didn't throw any interceptions. He made the right read. It was a little bit late. Yes,
Yeah.
Mike could have saved him if he lifts his hand and just gets the 2 feet down first. But
Mm,
I don't know, it's little things like that where, yeah, you think he can take the next step, but then he doesn't.
yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, just looking at the defensive numbers and, you talked about KJ Britt with 8 tackles filling in for Devin White did a pretty good job. Zion McCollum had a pretty good game making deflections and, being in the right spot. Antoine Winfield yet again making a safety happen with the sack fumble. Probably could have had a touchdown if Patrick O'Connor paid attention,
Oh,
but
yeah, right? He was celebrating
he
too early.
it did not. But yeah, overall, it was good to see Levante back in there. He's a key
Jeez.
piece. I mean, he's so good. So, um, and again, the young guys continue to play well. Kalijah Cansey with a sack. You had Greg Gaines step up as well. Diaby looks good. You don't see Marquise Watts on here, but I liked how he played. So yeah, a lot of good things defensively. Again, you don't want to see Desmond Ritter for throw for 300 yards. That's never good, but they did good enough. They stopped the run, so that was key for sure.
And it was mainly big chunk plays that
Yeah.
I don't think he was go up to his completion percentage, or what was it? Uh,
He 26 of 40, so I mean low 60 percentage probably,
like I
or
feel like it was
actually under 60% probably. Yeah,
like it was the big chunk to at the end of the game to Drake London. And
yeah,
it's some of that is like empty yards. The biggest one
yeah.
to me was the Kyle Pitts touchdown, which should have not have happened.
Right. Yeah,
Um,
36 yarder right
yes,
there.
like that
So,
was a missed assignment massively. The
mhm.
Bijan long of 33. I'm trying to remember which one was that one because that was a run. That was the big play he had. Oh no, what that was a pass because it was like one of those
Yeah,
passes. So yeah, like
right.
that one, that's
Yep.
him making one hell of a move. I mean, even Levante was there and he just shimmied him. So like that,
Mm,
those 3 big plays, the Drake London one, I'm not going to count. Either way, he had
yeah,
10 of 11 targets for
yeah,
172. Like some of
yeah.
that was just Carlton Davis kind of messing up on some coverage, but you can't get mad at him.
Mhm.
He made probably one of the biggest plays defensively of the game.
He did. Yep. Yep.
Mm,
Yeah. So it was overall, they did enough. The Falcons did some bad, and the Bucs were just better at the end. And also, the Falcons missed 2 field goals in this game. So when you look at it,
we should have lost.
we probably should have lost this game. Again, no one really seemed like they wanted to win. There was just a lot of mistakes. There's a time where I think it was both teams were punting. I think like back to back to back for like a long stretch. It was a lot of 3 and outs. Um, you know, just nothing happening. Especially I think in that third quarter, not much going on, and then the Bucs just did more in the final quarter there. So
And like Flash Gordon, he's like, we should have
yeah,
lost. I mean,
yeah,
I don't want to say we should lose. Either way, the defense stopped them, so it's going to be a long field goal. Good job on the
mm,
defense, right? So
right,
that's what your defense is supposed to do: make it harder on the offense, on the special teams of the other team, which they did. So technically, they did their job, and that's why they missed their field goal. So we won the game based off of that.
mm,
Either way, they like Plus said, they did enough to win the game. They were in it the whole entire damn game. They were pretty much in the lead the whole entire damn game,
yeah,
but it didn't feel like it was a winning game at any moment until like the very end when Baker kind of led them to that touchdown. And even with it was 31 seconds, I kind of knew we were going to win. But I mean, there are things to like, but then the coaching errors of the
yeah,
timeouts issues still going on,
mhm,
mental breakdowns of 9 players on the field, and then you did see him be a lot more emotional on the sideline. Some of that I feel for him because the 2-point conversion, I'm like, what the hell are you doing, guys? Like
yeah,
that was just a gimme. Like that was Antoine Winfield Jr. to me that made the
right,
error too. Like,
yeah,
and they were sitting there talking to each other. I'm like, what, Winfield? That's your only zone. No one else is there.
mhm,
So yeah, it's frustrating, but they won the game, and that's 2 in a row now.
yep,
So let's ride some high. I know a lot of Bucks outlets and everything are still saying like there ain't no chance in hell. But hey, let's see what happens to see if they can catch some momentum.
Mm-hmm.
And like Mike said, it doesn't matter how you win. If it's ugly, you still won. And
Yep.
it's not like anyone's that much of a juggernaut we're facing upcoming. Just saying
No,
that.
I mean, just looking at the division, Buccaneers are in first place, and it came down to the third tiebreaker, which is this right here, 5-4 in the conference. Again, you're tied with Atlanta for the division record, but you have head to head right now because you just beat them, and also you have the 5-4 in the NFC, conference. So, but man, this is just nasty right here. -8 and differential. The Saints are actually plus 24, but that's just because they just blew out the Carolina Panthers, and then -144. My God, that's just not good.
I
But
said,
yeah, I mean, but the Bucs defense, 270 points allowed. Again, that's not terrible, but your offense is just the offenses in this division just not good enough. Especially when you look at some of these other divisions. I mean, 380 for the 49ers. That's good offense. Obviously, I mean, not a lot of good offenses around the NFC to begin with. Obviously, Cowboys and Eagles pretty much running away with it as far as points go. You have the Lions as well.
188 differential. Wow.
Yeah, that is good. And that's good defense as well. I
Yeah.
mean, they're just blowing teams out. I mean, but then you get into the AFC and God, there's so many good teams with good records. Yeah, it's just, but like you said, I mean, Buccaneers are right there. They're in it. They are, you know, in every game, and they're going to have an opportunity when you look at their schedule, the final four against Green Bay, and then you have two home games, Jacksonville and New Orleans, and then Carolina. So really, the Buccaneers could just win the last two games and probably win the division at 8-9. It's very possible looking at the other team schedules as well, the Falcons and the Saints. I mean, there's not many gimmies there. I know the Falcons, I think, play Carolina this week, so that's probably a win. But yeah, 8-9, maybe 9-8. That's all it's going to take for one of these teams to win it.
This is for the division to go to the playoffs, and I don't think either team playing like a playoff team.
That says it all right there. The announcer said it during the game.
Right.
But that's the thing. So like we talked about this yesterday. A majority of these games are always close. Coaching kind of puts you in position to win.
Mm-hmm.
This game, it didn't feel like it was a coaching put you in position to win. It was just more who didn't want to lose. Who didn't want to lose more.
Yeah, exactly.
Who didn't want to win. It's the same thing. Like you barely beat Carolina 21-18, and it's just frustrating to see that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There are bright spots. Don't get me wrong. I mean, no turnovers. Yes, you want to see Godwin and Baker connect on a deep ball, like that one deep shot that they had. That would have been pretty. It was semi-close, but didn't connect. The Mike Evans touchdown, that would have been a giant point differential right there. But again, didn't succeed. They're, like Baker said earlier in the season, like they are close in certain areas. Yeah. But like the sequencing of this still isn't there. Yeah, I like that he finally realized, okay, if we're running to the left, it's working. It's working a lot. And you're pulling Mock, pulling Luke Edeke, but we're always going to the left. It's somehow working. Stick with that if that's what you want to do with your runs. But sequencing and timing of your runs is massive. He got better in the fourth quarter. He stuck with it. I appreciate that. But early on, like the fourth down sweep, that was a terrible call, in my opinion.
Yeah.
My opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, the toss play to Rachaad White. I mean, that's
toss. Yeah.
Yeah, just a toss play to Rachaad, and I mean, that's just not going to work. I mean, you have to find ways to get them off balance, and the Falcons already knew what was coming. Like they read the play. That play works if you execute it perfectly, but we know that's not going to happen, right? You're not going to block every guy perfectly and have it lined up the way you want to. That play would have been awesome if you like fake that toss, get the defense moving one way, go back the other way, try to have some type of outlet option there on the other side, and either Baker runs for it or you have a completion somewhere. But that is something that Dave has to be better with. I think it's been a consistent struggle with him as far as making sure the process is ahead of the chains and understanding how to utilize his players the right way. He's shown flashes of it. He showed flashes of it yesterday where like getting Chase Edmonds out in the flat, right? Getting him the ball in space, utilize him as a pass catcher. That was nice. Yeah, that was good. That was good utilization. Just doing some different things. I do like when they move like Tompkins or Palmer in motion and try to get them the football, in routes. So he's just got to be, he has to understand, like, yes, you want to run the football, but sometimes you just got to mix it up and understand what can get you yards, especially on first and second down, and try to avoid these third downs. I mean, third and manageable is great, but it's not guaranteed. Like, it's not guaranteed you're going to convert these, right? So you got to start being more aggressive on first and second down, trying to get a first down on first down. Like that's the way to win, right? You don't want to have 16 third down conversion or third down attempts. That's what they had yesterday, and they only converted 6 of them. That's not good. So
No,
no, it's not. Yes, you ran the ball for 148 yards, which is great. But it could have been a lot better. But you also have to look at it from another standpoint. You weren't really successful throwing the football either.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand maybe why he was more conservative, especially in the second half where they were just trying to run the ball as much as possible.
But to be honest, in his theory of running the ball early on, they're saying 2 and 3 yard runs will turn into 4 and 5. And they started to do that. Literally fourth quarter, it was like anytime they ran the ball, it was going to be an easy 4 yards, bare minimum. And that's to his credit, how he always says, I'm going to be stubborn running the ball. Yeah, okay. But like early on, he's even talked about how he struggles with it, of the sequencing of when he should run it as opposed to pass, considering that we are a better passing team, right? And I know that they're slowly, the blockers are starting to get set up well. Cade Otton has gotten a lot better blocking. I don't know what the hell got into him, but I cannot say one bad thing about him in this game. Like, run blocking, great. Clearly he won. One of his 2 catches were one of his 2 is a game-winning touchdown.
Yeah.
So he did everything right. You can't get mad at him at all for anything he did. Like, if you look at all the blocks, he's there. He's sprouting guys out open and bulldozing away. So he has totally changed throughout from the beginning of the season to now. I don't know if it's a confidence thing or he just knows where to be, but night and day different player. And that's going to help the running game big time. I think it's just dialing it all in. And do I think they're going to be miraculously better? Like, this is going to be their run and they're going to make a run to the playoffs? No, I don't. You can't count on that because nothing has been consistent lately since the beginning of the season to now. Like, so a lot of that's a lot of wishful thinking, or we're just basing it off of what we've seen and what we've seen this game, the last game, the game before that. And it feels good to win and to be in games, but you want to be able to enforce your will on teams that you know you should beat. Like the Panthers, the Saints did it. We were at home. We won by barely. So, I mean, a win's a win, right?
Yeah, no, winning is winning. Obviously getting 2 in a row feels great, but you also have to look at all aspects from the last 2 weeks and understand that even though yesterday's result was great, you can't hide the fact that 58 minutes of it was pretty awful. It was pretty bad on both sides of the ball. And that is something where, again, that's why you don't feel confident going into these final 4 games saying, oh, yeah, the Buccaneers are going to go undefeated the rest of the way. We're going to have a home playoff game against the Eagles. and we have a chance, right? We have a chance to upset the Eagles. Yeah. But no, it's like not in reality, because especially when you look at this coaching staff and the continued failures of the process on both sides of the ball, guys continuing to have breakdowns communication wise. You have coverage bust. You have, again, like we just spoke of, with the inconsistencies of play sequencing, and then inconsistencies with players. Quarterback Baker being inconsistent and limited. Offensive line has its issues at times from the interior pass protection sometimes can be let up, and then defensively you don't have a stout pass rush. Again, it's up and down. It has sometimes where it's good, sometimes where it's bad. Coverage, and then again linebacker play up and down. Even though it has been better since who hasn't been playing. So I guess that's the one positive we have to look at to really move forward. Devin White doesn't play. The defense, all right. Defense, yeah. Not terrible, but not great either.
I mean, so it's just the time where, and that's another thing. So when it is Devin White's time to come back, he's healthy enough. Todd Bowles is going to say, "Oh no, that's my boy. I'm going to put him right back in," and you're going to see the same stuff of what you've seen in the past. Instead of assignment based, it'll be just running around doing circles in the middle of the field, and it's frustrating to see. And that is a coaching matter. You would think if the coach just saw, okay, holy crap, we're more technically sound with these guys in. They're supposedly a less superior guy, right? And they're playing better, or they're just doing the exact same thing. So why should I throw him in there? And the only time Devin White's truly on top of his game is when he's going downhill, going after a quarterback, which I think they should use in that capacity, but they're not going to. But I will say the pass rush will be a lot better with Vita Vea in there to allowing Kansas to do what he can do. And then Marquise Watts is nasty on third down. I guarantee you, if he's getting if Vita Vea's on the field and he's next to him, I'm just waiting for him to have a 2-sack game. It's going to happen.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think, obviously, not having Vita Vea in there yesterday, you can see it.
I just read the comments.
Yeah. Yep. They're talking about the housing market, and he done a great job of, taking advantage. So really good job. But yeah, Vita Vea.
All over it all day.
Yep. Yeah, Vita Vea is a huge part of the defense, and hopefully he's back this week against Green Bay. We'll just have to see. Again, with a toe injury, that's always difficult, especially with a man his size. You got to be able to have those feet, in good order, so he can make his what he's supposed to do on the field, make his job, make everyone else's job easier. So that's going to play a big part.
You'd assume he'd be closer to coming back because he was like a game time decision, right?
Yeah, I would assume so. I would think he's most likely going to play. And we'll just have to wait and see if they play these other guys like Devin White and Jamel Dean. I think Zion deserves to continue to play in there. And I'd like to see more of, Servassier Dennis and, KJ and JJ Russell. I like to see all those guys in there.
Yeah, I heard the justification for not putting Servassier in there was he plays the same, I guess they call it the Mo linebacker.
Same as Levante.
Yeah, same as Levante. So they both do the same thing. So they don't need that guy that's going to cover the tight end. Two of them, they rather have a downhill run-stopping guy like Britt next to Levante.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, I mean, yes, in theory, I understand it, but why not just be multiple? Yeah. Servassier was pretty damn good stopping the run too. It's not like he's bad at it.
No.
So, and his small sample size, but yeah, I guess veteran, more time in the scheme. KJ Britt, Todd Bowles playing for his job pretty much. Okay, I guess I understand. Rely on the more veteran type player. But but Bud Campbell said it. Yeah, Britt really impressed me when he was on the field. He also made another point. Where is it here? How has Hall improved more than JTS?
Yeah, I mean Hall looked okay yesterday. I thought he did some good things. Yeah, JTS, it's the unfortunate story for him. He just can't finish plays, right? I mean, he has Desmond Ritter there to tackle, and he just couldn't make the tackle. Ritter just outran him and got the corner and scored. So yeah, it's unfortunate, just the inconsistencies from for JTS standpoint. And again, the utilization of him can also be put into question. I think just doesn't get enough pure rushing reps from my standpoint as far as what I see, because they just try to use him in so many different ways. It's like you don't really let him hone in on one spot. But again, you got to produce. You have to produce in this league to and obviously he hasn't, and that's why he's not starting anymore, right? Yaya Diaby has been playing a lot better and has done a great job. Right off the bat, Diaby makes a play. So
And I think his confidence got
yeah,
shot. Like, I think he's playing that way now. I mean, you
yeah,
lost your starting position
right.
middle of the season. You're like, what the hell was I doing?
Mm,
To a rookie, nonetheless, right? So
yeah,
it's not like it's a guy they signed that was a potential veteran guy. Oh, let's make a run. No, it's just a rookie
mm,
that's outplaying you,
yeah,
and it was showing. So yeah, he two ways to take it. Either you shoot your confidence down, you go in a little hole and you cry about it, or you try and light a fire in your ass and go after it even more. Like,
mm,
prove why you should be fighting for that position again. I don't know
yeah,
which one he's going to take. Clearly, this one, he almost gave up the game-winning touchdown if Baker doesn't come back, right?
right.
I think that was right. The Ritter was the
Yeah,
last.
yeah. The Ritter put them ahead, and
He just
and
pushed him
then
out of bounds. Like, I don't know what the
yeah,
hell. You're right there.
yeah, yeah, and that's been the story for him. He just can't finish plays for whatever reason, and um, but I also look at that as like a coaching flaw as well. Like with Todd Bowles and his ability not to really get these players to maximize their potential. And I know that's on position coaches as well. But just looking at the regression for like a Carlton Davis, a Jamel Dean, um, Devin White, like not getting better. And then JTS, like not
That's
figuring out.
from height from college,
Yeah,
though. He
yeah,
Devin White, like he was just a guy who could fly to the ball, but
right.
we always knew his coverage skills weren't there, and it hasn't improved since college. So
Yeah, I mean that's not a good sign.
top five
So
hitter, maybe.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I wish we had Josh Allen, but again, we digress. So yeah, I mean the
Except that
yeah. Yeah, so again, the Buccaneers in first place. I mean, just a crazy year this has been. Up and down football team right now, and really, I mean, what are you guys thinking in the chat? I mean, how do you expect this rest of the season to go? Do you think the Buccaneers have it in them to win this division and maybe win a playoff game? Or what are we thinking? Is this just going to be one more win the rest of the way against Carolina and we lose the next three? um, I mean, I told Mark before we got on here, I was like, this team could go either way. Like, I could see them winning all the games. I could see them losing them all.
yep.
It's just the process is just so flawed that that's how they play. They're just so inconsistent from quarter to quarter, and it's more about can they not mess it up and find a way to win at the end of these games.
And like, let's talk about this. So offensively, why are they just so like that? So I want to do, when we do our film study this week
Mm,
on Baker and some of his reads. Yeah, some of them, when it's a one read and the defense is set up exactly how the offense should attack it, he's good. It's an easy throw. He gets it. Like the Chase Edmonds third down conversion, easy throw, good catch, first down. Godwin
mm,
on a play action boot, wide open, throw it to him, easy conversion. But sometimes
yeah,
he starts trying to push the ball down the field when it's like he just sees the safety's not in that zone. Okay, well, I'm going to just predetermine throw it there instead of read what the hell the defense is doing and seeing, okay, well, if there's someone else going with Godwin too, not just because the safety's gone, but the linebacker's underneath carrying with him, the quarterback's with him. So there just should be someone open in the flat. He just doesn't read it. He just predetermines to throw it that way. So that's where we kind of see it's an insufficiency of Baker in the offense. Is that just because of his not fully understanding the offense yet this late in the season? I hope to God not. Maybe it's just part of him, but I don't know. And that's why quarterback is the biggest, most important position. And if you want to help him a lot, you need a running game that's going to do it, but we just don't have that. And because, there were times where he would force it. It was luckily an incompletion, but there were guys underneath that were open. And that's one thing where they're saying the defense shows you where to throw the ball. And sometimes you just didn't see it, or it's late reads on it.
Yeah.
And that's one thing we'll probably go through with the offense. And that's where I think is the biggest inconsistency. It's not just sequencing of why the hell are we doing run, pass. And then when it is a pass, sometimes he doesn't read it if the offense isn't perfectly called for what the defense is giving it. That is where quarterback play needs to be stepping up to convert.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's been, I think that's been an issue with, Baker throughout his career. He just doesn't have that consistency or skill set to really elevate the team around him. He needs the team to be elevating him, or the coaching needs to put him in a good spot to be successful. And that's been inconsistent on both sides. But yeah, to your point, Baker has trouble with the pre-snap read and then adjusting post-snap when the defense adjusts. And that's been his issue. And it leads to him holding onto the football, being late, double pumping or double clutching. And then at that point, the protection has already broken down. And I think, we've gotten away from him getting the ball out less than, 3 seconds at least. Dave wanted 2.7. Dave wanted him to get the ball out, and that has kind of gotten away. We did that, I think, early on, especially in the early part of the season, where it was more timing. It was one hit, go, hitting the out routes. We saw that in preseason, and now it's just not happening. So,
yeah, and it's getting the ball out fast is one thing. Like you can see him hit. He can hit a pass easily. When his assumption of what the defense is doing is correct, he can hit a throw easy. Like the Kate Otten, that is him. Okay, I'm going to predetermine. That's where I want to go with the ball. The safety did what I thought they were going to do. I'm throwing it. There's no thought process into it. It was just I already know where I'm going to go with it.
Right.
But that's the thing. When his assumption is incorrect and he has to think on the go, that's where he starts holding it way, way too long. Instead of moving on to the next read, he still stares at that one guy for no random reason. I don't know why that is. And then when he goes to switch, it's too late, and the other guy that was open is no longer there, and then he has to scramble, and then sometimes he runs into a sack. And that's where it gets frustrating. You're like, damn.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it's the right throw, and someone else was open over there, and fans get mad at it. So it is frustrating all around for a quarterback in that aspect. But the biggest stat, like Tom Brady says, is winning.
Yep.
But the quarterback gets you to that position where you're consistently winning, getting conversions, getting and touchdowns.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, and people are bringing up stats. Scotty J talking about 20 touchdowns and 80 receptions for Baker, and that's awesome. But you also have to look at the context of when these numbers are occurring, when are the touchdowns being thrown, what missed opportunities are taking place. So again, it hasn't been good enough. You're talking about an offense, I think maybe is averaging 20 points a game now. They were at 19. I think now maybe it's up over 20, but still, it just hasn't been good enough from a consistency. Garbage time quarterback as Bucs comes right in on cue. I mean, you have to look at that from that standpoint. I mean, the context is very important, especially when you're getting these numbers, and it hasn't done enough to help this team win football games. So that's what it comes down to.
All right, let's look at the numbers, right? If people want to talk about that, let's take a sneak peek. All right, so where are the Buccaneers in this? We're way down here. Points
Yep.
per game, 20.2.
Yeah.
Right,
So we got over 20.
just ticked over. What, last year we're 18?
Yeah.
God, that's terrible.
It's not good.
Okay, so we're 2 points better. I guess Todd Bowles making his argument. We're
Yep.
improving. But do we get 9 wins as opposed to 8 wins? That's the question mark now, right?
Right.
We're going 3-1 the next 4 games. That'd be insane to happen.
Yep.
But then they also want to look at comparison of Baker, almost 3,000 yards, 20 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, to Trevor Lawrence, who everyone will say, well, no doubt at all, first overall pick. He's the franchise quarterback, blah, blah, blah. 3,200 yards, 17 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. So why doesn't he get as much flap as Baker Mayfield does? Is this a garbage time quarterback? I don't think anyone would ever say that right now, right?
Yeah, but I think it's also, you have to put in the context of what Trevor Lawrence is doing for a Jacksonville team and how he's operating the offense, and finding ways to put them, exactly, top 10 QBR. Yeah, so I think that's huge. And also looking at, like, when is he making big time throws? When is he pushing the football? That's very important. And you also have to look at yards per pass, like per pass attempt. Like Baker, I think, is under 7, maybe less. It's not good. You got to be able to push the ball downfield. And this game, he averaged 5 yards per pass, which is not
6.7.
good. Yeah, 6.7. So again, you're not getting explosive plays. You're not helping your offense move the ball at an efficient clip and put up points on the board.
But that is the frustrating part of it, though.
Yeah.
Like, it's tough to truly grade a quarterback.
But Jacksonville is also a better coach team.
Yeah.
Also a better team around Trevor Lawrence. Maybe not offensive skill players, but
a running game.
They have a running game. They have a defense that is so, and they find a way. Like,
I mean, it's a comparison nonetheless. I mean, it's not like he's night and day blowing Baker out of the water numbers wise. Okay, we're looking QBR 52.8 to 59.9, whatever the hell this is. You're telling me that little differential is the difference between top 10 quarterback and middle of the pack? And then if he had a better running game, he's probably around the same thing, because it's all complementary. You can't just rely on one guy to win you games. Peyton Manning's credit to that. Like, early on, he was terrible. The team around him was terrible. But it's also coaching wise. Like, there's a lot of things where this team has a lot of insufficiencies. We don't have the best coaching, consistent staff, right?
Right.
Offense or defense. Like, it's like frustrating all around. So could it get better? Definitely. Yeah. But I don't think they're going to have the time to do that unless they truly do go on a run. Is it possible? Yeah. Like we just said, but it's just so flip a coin if they win or lose. There's no,
I think, and I've heard other people say this. I think Baker is not he's not all of the problem, but he's not the answer either. I don't think, as far as moving forward long term, Baker's just not that guy. He's just not going to be that guy. I think he's a starting quarterback in this league, sure. But I just don't think he's ever going to be that guy that's going to elevate your team to where you want to go. And that's obviously winning a championship.
Yeah, but we've had this argument so many damn times. Like, everyone's brought up Trent Dilfer, Joe Flacco,
right?
Like, all these different quarterbacks that have won Super Bowls, where Nick Foles have to be the most elite of elite. You just need to run an offense consistently and rely on your team to help win, not just you.
Right.
And it is. But what you just said, though, he may not be the answer, but I don't think he's necessarily the problem. If he's not the answer, he could be a cumulative answer with another good running game. Yes, I think so. Because, like, if you think about the Browns team, they almost beat Kansas City. They should have beat Kansas City. Like, he's almost getting to the Super Bowl that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to probably face Tom Brady and then lose. But but either way, it's tough to grade him in that fashion. And then first year, learning on the go, still not on the same page with Godwin. Like, some of those throws, I'm like, what the hell, this late in the season? But I just want the right process, right coaching in place. And
Yeah, and
I'm sure this is.
we've talked about it a lot. I mean, coaching is everything in this league. I think it's super important. It doesn't get talked about enough. I think um, having the right coach is that can create so many opportunities for your team down the road, as far as how you want to build your team and just having that identity and really putting your players in a better position to be the best they can be, right? Um, so yeah, I mean that's important. Head coach, and then finding a quarterback to marriage with that coach, and then building the team throughout that process. I think that's what you have to do.
This brutal as Bucks. I
Yeah.
almost agree fully with this. Tannehill is the perfect Baker comparison. Even if you're stacked, he's still not good enough. But Tannehill had really good. I'm not gonna say elite years, but really good years, like starting
Mm,
caliber quarterback years, where Tennessee was very competitive every year. They
right.
just couldn't get over the hump. It's almost like Philip Rivers kind of type. Philip Rivers is higher, but where
Yeah.
he would have really good years, but they just couldn't fully win. The team wasn't fully there to win. Uh,
Yeah.
but that is a pretty good comparison. I mean, it's tough. I mean,
Mm,
overall, like I'm not going to fully blame Baker. I'm always rooting for him. He's a guy you want to succeed, and sometimes he makes some good plays. Sometimes he does, but it's just so inconsistent. And the quarterback position is one where you need to have consistency every
yeah.
down.
Yeah.
And
And that's the thing. Like, and you go back, you mentioned that Browns game. Like you look at that Browns game again, there was plays in that game where Baker again showed himself as far as the inconsistencies, the up and downs, like running one way, throwing it back across the other way, throwing a pick, right? And setting things up for the other team, not taking advantage of certain opportunities that I had early in the game. And a lot of people point to, yes, guys should not have fumbled the ball, right? That would have helped. Um, so yeah. So it's just like, yes, he'll find ways to help you, but then at the same time, it hurts you because of his limitations, not being able to see the field as cleanly as he needs to, not process fast enough with the processing that we talked about. So, bottom line is, when we look at this team, we obviously, I think all of us agree, probably going to be looking for a new head coach and probably a new quarterback as well to marriage with that. But there's still 4 games left in the season. Who knows what's going to happen with this team? Who knows what the decisions are going to be made? Are they going to win out? Um, are they going to win this week? Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen?
hey, let's say some positive things. Okay, so where if they do catch lightning in a bottle and they actually start going on a run,
Right.
it'll be because clearly this running game is getting momentum. It is starting to
Yeah, they
work
would have to
slowly,
ride. Yeah, just
right?
ride Rashad White.
And that's the thing though. So
Yeah.
if we have a running game, Baker will improve. The play action pass will improve. That's where he's best at. I could see both them getting better based off of that.
Mhm.
But that's something we need to rely on. And are we able to do that right now? I don't know. But like a lot of the teams that we're facing aren't really run stopping juggernauts, right? So
Yeah.
that's where an area where we could exploit other teams if we can start slowly doing it. Or like he says, be stubborn with it, trying to stick with it, stay in the game, and somehow win it in the end. So it's not unfathomable, whoever the hell had mumbled it all out. And then defensively, just keep Devin White on the bench. uh, keep Zion McCollum in, let Jamel Dean heal, and
Mhm.
let's see. And how bad is Ryan Neal's injury? Because I mean, if it's D.
Yeah.
Delaney and Antoine Field Jr. out there, okay, we got to get some continuity.
Mhm.
If Vita Vea just come back healthy, I think you can start having some good things happen, like a rotation of Marquise Watts coming in on third downs. I'm telling you, dude, like he's getting really damn close. And
Mhm.
if Vita Vea is in there, you're getting him attention. You're doing one-on-one with Marquise Watts. He's going to start having a big game, and
Yeah.
especially on third downs. He's always been good at it, and we're actually using him higher usage rate now. And I'm excited to see what that can provide. And yeah, it's there's so many question marks, but it's when the answers start coming, and that's where it's going to be funny. Where we're so set on new coach, but Todd Bowles is probably sitting there. I ain't gonna get fired yet. Let me see what I can do.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a big thing. I know people are talking about Kyle Trask, but that's a big thing. Why Kyle's probably not going to go in. The only way he goes in is if Baker suffers an injury where he can't play. So that's probably not going to happen. I mean, Todd is, like you said, trying to keep his job. He's going to do whatever it takes to win these games. Like he wants to say it's playoff. Every game's a playoff game now. So yeah, we'll just have to see how they go into this matchup coming up against Green Bay. That's another game where, like we said, they're going to be right there. Can they win it? Absolutely. Will they do the things to win? Who knows?
Yeah.
that is the mysterious question surrounding this team. It seems like it's always something new that messes the game up, right? And then they'll find a way to put themselves back in the game, and then it just comes down to, can they execute at the end to win?
Hey, another bright spot. Not many mental errors. Yeah, he had I think Tristan Wirfs with a full start, but there wasn't.
Yeah, only 4 flags.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Zion McCollum flag, which was kind of a nitpick.
The guy fell over.
Yeah. So I mean, technically, not many. So, and that is a coaching aspect part. Yeah, but it's just inconsistency.
Yeah. Also, what? Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, what will we see? That's the thing.
Yeah. Who knows? And yeah, good discussion in the chat. A lot of people mentioning sign back Baker and then draft a quarterback. That's tough because I know I think Mike Florio said recently that Baker wants to be back, and absolutely, why wouldn't he not want to be back, right? It's a great place to live. He's having his firstborn here as well, so yeah, definitely. I think he would love to be back. It just depends on the contract. Like, what are you going to offer Baker? And so, I mean, I think personally, I agree with Brutal as Bucks. If you're drafting a quarterback, there's really no point in keeping a Baker Mayfield. Like, let him go start somewhere where he has a full opportunity, and you draft a quarterback in a high draft pick, round 1 or 2, you're probably going to want to start that guy, right away. So that's just how I see it.
Like Bowles said, every game's a playoff game. So this is not just Bowles' job. This is Baker's last opportunity.
Yep.
To be like a legit starter. Like if you lose out here and we don't resign you, there's not many like spots left that are
right. I mean, I'm sure he'll get an opportunity. It might not be a certain price point that he's looking for. I don't know if he'll be, thrown into being the guy. He'll probably have to compete again, right? And try to win a starting job. So I'm sure there would be an opportunity, maybe like, I don't know, Washington, or I know they have Sam Howell, so maybe not, but who knows? I mean, there'll be opportunities. There's always something that pops up.
I hope. Brutal as Bucks.
Yeah, I mean, New Orleans is stuck with Derek Carr for at least one more year. And then Atlanta. Yeah, he could go to Atlanta. I could see that being an option. That would be funny.
I don't dislike him. I actually like him a lot. I just wish he would take that next step. But that's the thing. Like if you're not like a rookie no more, he has some traits where you're like, okay, that is a savvy veteran move, but he's not consistently making it over and over. Like if the running game's better and improve and we're going to ride that, okay, I can see him being a better player. But like you said, he's not going to be the answer, but he couldn't be part of the solution. I'll say that.
Yeah, for sure.
Has been recently.
For sure. I mean, yeah, I think there's no question people like Baker as, a person, and, his personality is awesome, and obviously a leader. So the teammate, his teammates love him. So that's always a great thing. But it's just, can he make those plays when you need him to make them? Especially when there's plays there to be made. That's what separates the the mid quarterbacks from the
Mid.
good to the mid from the good to great quarterbacks.
Yeah. Well,
Yep.
he's 28. Not that bad.
Yep.
We'll see.
Yep.
If he starts hitting some deep balls, then we got something. But let's see. We shall see.
Mm-hmm.
On that, guys, what do you guys want to mention? Anything last takers besides bashing Baker left and right?
Yeah. Yeah, and shout out to the offensive line. I thought they played well yesterday. Again, got the run game going. Pass protection for the most part was pretty good. I think the only bad pass rep that I saw, there was one by Robert Hainsey. No surprise, he missed the block. Actually, it looked like Baker was going to throw the ball deep to Trey Palmer, but he got hit as he threw it, and it went incomplete. And then Cade Otton, I know you talked good about him, but he did have one bad pass protection rep. But other than that, he was solid. So offensive line overall was good, and I think making the change to Aaron Stinney, I think, has been a really good move for them. And obviously the other guys are starting to come along, and Gedeke and Tristan Wirfs is hurting. I think that's obvious. Like, he's hurting, but he's playing better. And Gedeke continues to play well. Cody Mock on the screen, that was awesome. So a lot of good things there, offensive line wise.
And I still can't believe people don't think Cody Mock's improving. Like, yes, he is improving. I know early on looked bad. Didn't look as bad as Luke Gedeke last year, and look how much Luke Gedeke's gotten better. No one bitches at all about him.
Mm-hmm.
It's mainly the other teams because he's beating the crap out of them. So, like, let's see. Let's see the maturation that happens with him. If you think about it, at least that's 3 good ones. The interior, Stinney's not doing bad at all. They were running behind Stinney and Wirfs big time in that fourth quarter. So,
yeah,
to me, it's just if Hainsey does anything, if he just gets in the way, this doesn't get blown back, this running game can succeed. It's just he literally, if you watch him, he's almost standing immediately. Even as he's hiking, his ass is higher in his, like, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, that one almost went over Baker's head, right? And he almost fumbled it.
Yeah.
This game. So it, like, still that stuff. Like, Robert Hainsey, they like a lot. I think it's just because he's he's good with the team, but yeah, that not so much in the running game.
Mm-hmm.
But when he does step up, that play goes big. I'll say that.
Mm-hmm.
Just do anything, and the running game will get better.
Yeah, it's crazy, and people talk about Ryan Jensen. Yeah, I think we all miss him. It's crazy. We talked about this before, but Ali Marpet and Ryan Jensen, if they were on this offensive line, which they should be because they're under contract, but again, one retires and one probably has to retire because of injury now. It's just that's unfortunate. Imagine how good the offensive line would be if you had those two in there. Probably be a lot better on offense, that's for sure. But it is what it is. You have to roll the punches, and Robert Hainsey, I think, again, solid at times, just another inconsistent player, right? He just doesn't have that mass to handle opposing mass, if that makes sense. So that's where he struggles, is the power and what he's going up against. But that will definitely be a position they're going to look at this offseason coming up, is upgrading the center position. And I think Hainsey has like a rotational piece as far as like backup depth. I think he's great at. I think that'd be awesome to have. But anyway, guys, I think that's going to do it for us. A lot of fun as far as winning yesterday. That's great. We're back in first place. We'll see what happens with this team and if they can make it more exciting down the stretch. Big game this week against the Green Bay Packers. This is probably the last you'll hear from me as far as this week. So be nice to Mark. He's going to put out a lot of good film studies. So be sure to hit that like button. So hit that like button for us. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel, and show a lot of love to the film studies, because Mark does a great job with them. And I'm going to do my best to put together as much film as possible, so that way we can have a lot of videos this week showing the run game, showing, Baker, showing, defensively as far as what needs to happen moving forward. So that'll be a lot of fun. But anyway, guys, be sure to hit that like button. Appreciate all the support. Appreciate all the guys in the comments and in the questions you guys have been asking. If there's anything new that you guys want to see, please let us know. I think that's important as well. We're trying to put out, different things. So if you want to see something that we haven't shown, let us know and we'll try to make it happen. But with that said, everyone have a great night. Go Bucs, and until the next time.
Woo!